Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you dead set legends, you were screaming for it. And the Aussie ArmWrestler has brought it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ready Bang, the #1 arm wrestling live stream in the world. I'm your host, the Aussie ArmWrestler. And although my guest has accomplished a lot of things in life, he has never won himself one of these. That is right. As always, I'm your 2019 Melbourne Cup 80 to 95 kilo left arm, third place amateur.
That looks pretty nice.
It's pretty nice, Loz.
It's not as nice as these, but you know, they're not too bad.
Oh, cool. Loz has got a trophy holding a beach ball. Oh, wow. Hey, what a guy. But
we're flexing already.
Talk about alpha male. But first of all, let me just quickly, before I introduce just one of my biggest guests ever, if not the biggest, my Patreon and YouTube bangers. For as little as 50 cents a week, you can help out the Aussie ArmWrestler. And, of course, all money just goes back into the channel. You know, my guys, I'm all about very grateful for the support you guys are all doing and really, really appreciate everyone that jumps on board. Got some big news to drop in the members only section today. And then, of course, if you head over to Old School Labs, just chuck in the code word BANG. Get yourself 15% off. And I'm not hiding anything. I do get a little bit of a kickback. Old School Labs looking after the Aussie arm wrestler. But let's get into it. My man here, the 2016 European strongest man in the world. He is a two-time Champions League strongest man. This guy's done it all, whether it's teams, whether it's solo. He is unbelievable. He's a world record holder. In 2011, he was the 4th strongest man on the planet. He is the Yuga Shahlaei. I'm talking about Big Loz, Laurence Shahlaei. Mate, welcome to the show.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Mate, you're excited. I think I'm a little bit over the top at the moment. Just a few dead set legends. If we can just all give Loz a ready bang. But at the moment, Loz, this has never happened before. I usually call everyone in the chat my usual suspects. But because you're on the show, we're all lesbians today. We're all big fat lesbians. That's what we are today in the chat. And everyone's up and about. Samuel says, excited to see what you got, Big Loz. Erebus Khan, just saying, hi, Loz. Alex Arade, what's up? Saying everyone is just so excited. Marcus Thompson in the chat, which is awesome. Everyone's so excited to see you. Now, guys, just a quick reminder. Just remember this year when it comes to Christmas Day, while you're opening your presents, just give my man a shout out. Big Loz, his birthday's on Christmas Day.
I know. How could that happen, eh? Just everyone forgets. But
mate, I'm the 20th. So when I found that out, I was a bit like, I don't know the exact pain of Christmas Day, but I was a bit like, I feel you, my guy.
You know the suffering.
I feel you. I feel you. You get one big present. You never get two presents. You don't get a birthday and a Christmas. It's like, oh, here you go. Here you go. Here's another Atlas stone, Loz. But it's one big present. That counts as your birthday and Christmas. How have you been, my guy? How have you been?
I am really good, thank you. Very busy these days. Obviously, still heavily involved in Strongman, although I'm not competing anymore. Still training lots. Been trying to lose weight and feel fitter. Got into arm wrestling and absolutely loving it. Just feel like a complete beginner again, total novice. And it's just something that excites me. You know, I look forward to going down the club every Sunday, and it's just something new that makes it fun for me.
Oh, mate, everyone's still in the chat is being awesome and excited that you've come over to our world, because not many people want to come over. We even have a lesbian in the house.
There's a lesbian in the house.
Liz is
working hard in the corner, as she is every evening. But she's waving.
A genuine superstar. James Statham is Hey, Loz, looking forward to the
James,
weekend,
we'll
as we
see
know
you on the
the
weekend.
director.
Yeah, I'll see James this weekend.
Yep, just make sure you hide your wallet. James Statham, untrustable. I've just made up a word. Just quickly touching on we could talk about your strongman career for about 15 hours, but we don't have the time. When it comes to your strongman career, what's it like when they announce you are Europe's strongest man? Like, there's no one else on the continent that is stronger than you.
It's weird. Like for me, when I won Europe's Strongest Man, it was like a big relief because I'd been on the cusp of winning a number of big shows up to that point. I mean, I'd won a few shows, done pretty well, but in the really big shows, I was always just missing out. And Europe's that year, I was up against the mountain. Hafthor Bjornsson, he was a heavy favorite to win, but I just felt confident in the event, so I was quite relaxed going into it. I was actually working on a film leading up to the competition, so it's quite funny because everyone's like, "Oh, Loz only won because Hafthor's recording for Game of Thrones." But I'd spent 5 weeks leading up to that recording for the Kingsman movie. And it was funny because I was just sleeping on my mate's sofa, training at midnight, getting up 5 o'clock in the morning to go to do long days on set, and it was just routine. Just became structure. It was just literally, I train at a certain time, go work, and it just the same every day. And it came to the competition, had a few good nights sleep, but I just felt really relaxed. I wasn't nervous. I felt good. The events were good for me. And it was just one of those days where it all sort of clicks and goes right. I broke 2 world records. Hafthor made a mistake on one event, and I capitalized on it and won a huge title. For me, it's not like, oh, I'm the strongest guy in the continent or anything like that. I see strongman as a sport, like any sport. And on your day, if you're a good athlete, you've got a chance. If you're a world-class athlete, you've got a chance. And that's the way I see it. And it was a good day for me. I was the best guy on that day. Whether I would never sit here and say I was a better strongman than Hafthor, but on that day, I was the best man. And it was an amazing experience because it was in front of the biggest crowd we've ever been in front of.
12,000 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 12,000 people. Oh! It was pretty awesome. Just that atmosphere of that many people screaming at you. You try a little bit harder and you bring a little bit more out of yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When we turn up to tournaments and there's, 10 people watching us, I'd much prefer 12,000 people screaming because I've just found the heaviest object in the room and able to lift it. Also, don't sell yourself short because you were doing all the stunts for the Kingsman, weren't you? Bit of a stunt man.
I was getting thrown through doors and chucking real celebrities around. It was good fun.
How on earth is someone throwing you through a door?
There's a few pulleys that maybe help them, but yeah, I was having to kind of go through windows, doors. One of my friends who he's done strongman before. He's a professional stuntman. He's got me into a few auditions before for films. So then I need to go and show what I could do. And even though I was a big guy, I was 170 kilos. I could move pretty well. It's
that's one thing I find fascinating because you're actually quick on your feet.
Yeah, well, I was British champion at Kung Fu as a kid, so I've always been able to kind of move well and fight. And I was always sporty. No matter what age I was always quite athletic. I was like a parkour kind of guy in a fat suit. that's what I kind of look like. I look like this guy, and you'd look at him thinking, "There's no way this guy can do anything." And I just had this ability to be quite athletic, even though I didn't necessarily look it. It's especially when I was younger, I was very, very fast over short distances, could do flips and stuff like that when I was younger. And I just learned how to fall well and got a few opportunities in a few films.
Oh, mate, a few films you do now. I mean, you might have been parkour in a fat suit. I was more of a park bench growing up, stabilised and sitting there. A few people go back and forth into the chat. Clerks93 just quickly wants to know, what is your weight now?
So right now I'm 130 kilos. I got down to 127, but when Neil rang me up and said, "You're arm wrestling," I was like, shit, I need to get a bit stronger again. So I've started eating a little bit more, but I'm holding about 130 kilos.
About 130. And Thomas Miles says, Big Loz will be a great addition to arm wrestling. He is a world-class athlete. Absolutely. Absolutely. Swedish Arm Wrestling TV says, on behalf of the arm wrestling community, welcome to
Do you know
arm
what's been
wrestling.
really nice is how kind of accepting everyone is. And I think, you know, and literally everyone it's the people that don't know about arm wrestling that they're like, oh, you know, the big strong men think they're going to come in and destroy arm wrestling. I know I'm a complete beginner. I'm a novice and I'm absolutely loving it. But the actual arm wrestlers have been so friendly, so welcoming. They want to teach me. They want to help me get better. And it's been really nice. I've been lucky with the club that I train at. Swindon Crusaders, the guys there is like Alan, who's an older guy that is just been really helpful with his time and you know, helping me get a bit better. There's like Mindus, Mark, Scott. They're all awesome, just kind of, you know, giving me their time. And then just recently been training a lot with Tom as well. So that's been
he's in the chat. Don't get too excited, guys.
the lean machine is here.
Man, it's Tom Holland. No, I absolutely love Tom Holland. We've spent a bit of time together on the show. He's a superstar.
Tom's
and he
been
says,
brilliant.
Big Loz is gonna do it. Trust me. And he's
he's putting the pressure on. But it's funny because it's so nice hearing, you know, positive feedback from guys like that. But I really have no huge expectations at the moment. My goal for this match next weekend is to get some experience arm wrestling, because as it stands, I've never done a ready go. I've never been in a proper match, so I don't really know what my level's like. So it's great having someone like Tom say, yeah, you're improving really fast and you can see the progress each week. But until you're in that situation, you just don't know.
Okay.
And there's a chance I just get flash pinned and, you know, just getting used to the commands at the start. It's all things that are completely new to me. But one thing I will do is learn from it and keep getting better.
Yeah, well, we'll get to Arm Wars and everything in just a moment. But if I know Tom Holland, if I know him probably, he's setting you up to fail. He's only got one thing, and that is like, oh, he couldn't even beat them. Oh, I could beat Big Loz. So Big Tommy's awesome. Chad Shaw, he's a very good arm wrestler in the States. If you haven't heard of him, says if Big Loz needs help, have him DM me. Well, you know,
I'm in the States in a few months time, Chance. So it'd be good to meet up. I've watched a number of Chance's matches, and you know, he's a huge rising star of arm wrestling. I'd love a chance to get on the table with him.
There you go, Chance. You're welcome. That's what I do. I just bring relationships together.
This is what I love, though. Everyone in arm wrestling so friendly. They're I mean, either they want to show me up and put it on their YouTube channel, or they want to help. But you know, one of the two. We'll see.
Nine times out of 10, it is wanting to help because we can't arm wrestle ourselves.
Yeah.
So we got no point. Like if you, well, obviously not you, but if someone turns up and I just rip him on the table, well, like, yeah, bugger this guy. I'm not coming back. We'll go there.
No. Honestly, like I said, like the whole community has been so welcoming to me, so friendly. You know, no one's trying to take the piss and injure me or anything like that. It's been nice so far.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I do have a message here from you, and I'm going to have to call you out, Lodge. You sent me, you said, oh, hey, Aussie, yeah, I'm going to tell everyone I'm a novice, but let's be truthful. I will smash Levan 7-0 in a best of 6. So, like, I won't put the message on the screen for privacy issues, but trust me, guys, it is there. No, it is awesome.
Yeah.
Phil Woody has jumped in. He says, Jake, we need to pass on to Loz the directions to Whitby. That is right. I will be in the UK Thursday the 8th for an event at the weekend after Arm Wars. So,
how long are you over for?
So I arrived the Thursday and I'm just there till the Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, so 4 days. I think we're all having a big dinner in the Manchester area on the Thursday night. So if you and Liz are just hanging about, you're more than welcome. I'd love to buy you a beer or a water. Are you a drinker or?
I'm not a huge drinker, but I'll have a drink now and again. It's, you know, nothing. I don't mind the odd drink on a special occasion.
There you go. I'll buy you a protein shake. Before we head into, I mean, there's just so much to talk about. Like I was mentioning two other things, especially with Strongman. But first of all, when you are known as Europeans' strongest man, do you just walk down the street and go, stronger than you? I'm stronger than you. Hey, hey, stronger than you. Do you just have? You look like that guy that has that?
Yeah, I
flag
walk down the
about
beach and just kick sand on people, and just kind of,
you.
I'm brought down to earth pretty quickly living in this house. We've got
Yeah.
three kids that don't give a damn that I do strongman. A wife that will kind of put me in my place as soon as I get out of hand. So I don't have that issue too often.
I think that's what I always love about hearing about world-class athletes. It'd be like, Loz, can you? It's midnight. Can you just take out the bins, babe? Europe's strongest man. I don't care. It's midnight. Off ski. Go and do it.
I've got no excuse now because I'm not competing. I'm not a pro strongman anymore. I'm not competing. So now I can't use that. Oh, I've got a comp on the weekend. I've got to take it easy. I need to save my energy. No excuses now. It's just got to be done.
Mate, everyone in the comments is just, mate, nothing but love for you. Warlock Arm Wrestling TV is in your corner, Loz. I'm a big fan.
Thank you,
guys, with your arm wrestling questions, maybe wait 5 or 10 minutes. There's just a few other strongman things I want to have a chat about. Everyone's
20-year strongman career. I've been doing arm wrestling for 4 months.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm a strongman fan, so I know everyone's coming to hear about the arm wrestling, and we will get to it. So I'm not ignoring your questions. Just get them in a little bit later because we've only got an hour with the big fella. 2011, let's just dive into that. 2011, your best year at the world's strongest man. When you looked at the leaderboard and you finished fourth, which is like probably one of the most painful places you can finish. It's like, get me in the top 3, or I could have taken the Atlas Stones or the Farmer's Walk or the Super Yoke easier and just finished 12th. Like, with what, get us in the mind of a world-class athlete where you just, by I think it was like half a point or something.
2011, I was sort of still on the way up. And I was very pleased with my performance, but I underperformed on the very last event. The Atlas Stones just was a poor performance for me. And that was an event that I was hit or miss on in terms of, some comps I do really well. Some comps I just mess it up really badly, and it was just one of those times it just went badly. So I was disappointed in the last event, but I was pleased with my overall performance when I sat down and looked back, and I think I placed where I deserved to place. 2012, I was improving all the time, and I would say I was actually at my best in 2012, and I believed I could have definitely got on the podium 2012. If you look at my results from that year, I was winning countless international shows. Europe's strongest man, I was top 3 with Lalas and Zadrunas, who both went on to be the top 2 at Worlds that year, and the events were good for me. But about 6 weeks before Worlds, I went and tore my labrum in an event in China and ended up having this great year, 2012, won loads of competitions and then missed out on the major show. And then from 2012, I had a number of injuries. So it was kind of weird. I was like on this trajectory, just getting up and up and up. And it was even the 4th place. I never look over my shoulder. It was always right. What do I do next? I can just keep improving, try and keep looking at ways to get better. But then after that first major injury, it was like I was probably trying to rush back too quickly and made the mistake of wanting to compete all the time, get back too quick. And then I started having this knock-on effect of injury after injury. And I had like a spell of 3 to 4 years where I'd build myself back up, get into sort of world contention again, be winning shows, and then go to the big show and boom, get another injury. And it was always a bloody world's strongest man. People kind of look at my career and think I got injured all the time. I competed hundreds of times. I've actually won more international competitions than any other British strongman other than Jeff Capes. He's the only one that's won more. So, I had a great career, but it was always at the other shows. It wasn't the world's strongest man. I tend to underperform or get injured with the format of world's strongest man because it's a very stop-start, whereas most of the shows you do, you just get on with it. It's a 1-day show or a 2-day show. World's strongest man is stretched over, a week to 10 days. And I wasn't such a fan of being away from the family for that long, the slow nature of the competition. and it just didn't suit me very well. But it wasn't until 2016 when I won Europe, so I started winning some real major competitions. And I still believe I was at my best in 2012, but I was more experienced in 2016, and I knew to sometimes hold back a little bit. It was when I was younger, it was literally 100 miles an hour all the time. Give 100%. There was never any question to the effort that I was putting in, but sometimes you put in effort in the wrong direction. And as I kind of got the injuries and got more experience, I started to learn that, right, sometimes I need to hold back and save energy for an event, or
not compete 647 times in a year, lifting the biggest things in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was times 2016 I'd be deadlifting, and I remember trying to pull 440, and it was coming off the floor, it was to my knees, and if it was back in 2012 I would have just kept pulling until it hitched. I would have hitched it up somehow and got it locked out, whereas there was this voice in my head saying, for fuck's sakes, man, put it down. You've still got 5 events to go. And I actually think that helped me be a better all-round athlete, because I learned to sort of structure my energy expenditure and actually have something towards the end of a competition, rather than just kill myself on the first few events.
Yeah, and I mean, it pays. World record holder in multiple events at one stage. Like, I'm always big on as I've asked, how did you feel? How did you feel? How did you feel? But I mean, seriously, like, no one else had done that event in a quicker time, or like your farmer's walk, for instance. You're holding 2 150 kilo things, and like you said before, quick on your feet. And at that stage, no one in the world had done it quicker than you. Like, do you get to capture that moment when they tell you it's like, oh, and your time 6.92 seconds or something, and then you're just like, oh yes.
I think as athletes, particularly like high level athletes, we're happy for a split second, and then it's like, all right, that was all right, but it needs to be better.
Yeah.
And I was very bad for that. I was very bad for not enjoying the moment and just looking at what I needed to do next. It was always kind of, all right, that was okay, but now you need to be better. You need to move on to the next thing. And I guess half of that is why a lot of people are successful. But it wasn't until I finished my career that I looked back and thought, actually, I did really well. For the most part, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I thought I was underperforming. I thought I wasn't good enough. It wasn't until I finished and looked back and I thought, do you know what? You did pretty good. You won. I won a world title. I won a European title. I won 3 national titles. I won countless international shows. I broke world records. I can sit back and think, actually, you know what? I did better than most. I've done okay. There was ups and there was downs, but I actually look back and I enjoyed the journey. Whereas at the time, you're just focused on the competition and the results. Whereas now I look back and it's like, I actually love, even now, I still love training. Just training is me at my happiest. That's why I'm always training for something. And, whether it's a grip comp or an arm wrestling comp, or I'm trying to get in shape or whatever it is, I will always train for something. And I've been doing sport since I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
It's just part of who I am. So, when I kind of sit back and think, what did I enjoy about my career? It's just the process. Going to the gym, making friends in the gym, socializing with people, learning about sports. I love learning everything there was to learn about strongman. I'm loving learning about arm wrestling now. I've powerlifting, weightlifting, bodybuilding, whatever it is. I get a bit obsessed with things and I just want to know everything. I want to know the history. I want to know, I try and look at what the old guys did and take from them and learn new things. And I'm just constantly trying to evolve and develop my skills and my understanding of all these different niche sports that we love so much.
Well, the transition is coming along nicely, because you went from strongman and now you deep dive into the commentary side of things. And quickly, I want to just touch on 3 massive events that you recently commentated, and then everyone will deep dive into his arm wrestling career. We had Thor's Lift was probably one of the first times I had heard you commentate. Thor's world record deadlift. I want to get your thoughts on the whole Thor versus Eddie fiasco, and you did the commentary for the boxing match, and then of course King of the Table 1. for those that didn't know. So were you pumped? Were you excited for Thor's lift? It was something excited during the COVID and the lockdown time, so we got to see some sort of live action. What was it all like? And then Thor ends up completing the lift.
It was amazing. I mean, we need to go back to basically the reason I did commentating a little bit early on with Colin Bryce. Colin Bryce kind of helped me originally. He showed me an interest in commentary sort of early on in my career. It was something I thought I'd like to get into that eventually. And when I tore my Achilles at World's Strongest Man in 2019, Don Idris messaged me. And because I did the Wuss show in 2018, I did pretty well in that show. And he was like, look, I know you're injured, but come over. We want you to be a part of the show. Bring your family over and do the commentating for us. So he gave me the opportunity to really do some commentating. And I really enjoyed it. I was nervous as hell, as you kind of probably would be, your first sort of big job. But absolutely loved it. And Don's the reason, I've been able to get into commentating. He's given me a few jobs, and the confidence has grown. He sort of invited me back to do a few other shows. Then we started doing, they started planning the Thor deadlift, and he was like, "Lord, I want you to do the commentating from it remotely from home, because obviously COVID and all that stuff." So we all learned to use Zoom at the time. That was it. You just set up a camera and away you go. It was a very weird one because I was commentating from here, and then there was another guy commentating from the show.
Yes.
So it was a little bit odd. But Thor's lift was incredible. Whatever anyone thinks, whether people see it as a real lift or not, or a real record or not, the fact is the weights were weighed. It was lifted in incredible form.
500 kilos, 501 kilos. Like, regardless, either way, he got that off the ground.
Not just that. He was given 15 minutes between each lift. He had to lift, like, it wasn't like he just could go at his own pace. He had to do it on a set date. He was given a set amount of time he had between each lift. Everything had to be weighed. It all had to be done on that day. You had Magnus for Magnusson. And a lot of people think, because Magnus is Icelandic, that Thor and Magnus are kind of working together and best friends. They don't like each other. That's the simple fact. They don't get on very well. So the fact that he, got the record from the down signal from Magnus, it was a great lift, and no one can argue with that. It was an incredible lift. Could he have done more? Should he have done more? That's all a different debate. But that 501 pull was unbelievable. And then obviously he challenges Eddie to a boxing match. And then the whole fiasco starts, and we're into this kind of circus of Eddie versus Thor that goes on for nearly 2 years. And I end up being lucky enough to do the commentating for that. And I thought both guys did an amazing job, considering they were both behemoth strongmen, up at nearly, one of them was over 200 kilos, the other one was close to it. They both dropped a shit ton of weight. They both got their fitness up. They both learned to box to a reasonable level in the amount of time that they had. I think Thor became a better boxer. Eddie's tactics were a bit weird and stuff like that, but one hell of a tough guy. Both of them took some big shots. It was entertaining. I've seen worse fights by two professionals, and it was entertaining. They hopefully settled their beef. Whether they have or not, that's up to them. I hope it's all settled. But it was an entertaining night, and we all got to watch it. And hopefully we never have to watch it again.
Wow, yeah, fingers crossed. What were your thoughts when Thor first called him out? Are you in because we're similar age, so are you in the old school mentality, like, right, beautiful, you got beef, go at the back, punch each other up, and then it's square? Or were you just like, oh, come on now, I can't deal with the circus?
At first, the whole scenario, I was just like, for fuck's sakes, guys, come on. Yeah, this was even before the boxing, just the whole drama and everything about it. You got two guys that are both very similar in personality, both two of the most determined men I've ever met, both, willing to do whatever it takes to be the best, obviously competing in the same era, and they compete against each other, and one of them's not happy with a call in a competition. But how many times have athletes not been happy with a referee? It's you accept it, you move on. There's the end of story. The best man won the competition. Eddie deserved to be the world champion that year. And I'm someone that, I sit here and say Thor is a better all-round strongman. He's one of the best we've ever had. But that year, with those events, Eddie was the man. And he deserved the win. Thor was probably a bad loser in the way he was, but he's not the only bad loser we've ever seen. We've seen plenty of people lose, shook Eddie's hand, got on with it, came back the next year. Thor was unbelievable. It was weird that it then all started kind of coming out. We were getting, all the stuff between them, and eventually Thor beats the record by 1 kilo, calls him out, and they end up in a boxing ring. And then, I was like, okay, well, you're in a boxing ring now. You're both retired from strongman. I would have rather seen them go head to head on a deadlift or something like that, personally. But they're both athletes. They've both got this opportunity. They've both got families to provide for. If you can get that money and you can kind of provide for your family, then fair play to you both, because all of us would take that opportunity.
Absolutely. And I will definitely challenge you, Loz, to a big money match. Now, I'm not talking about boxing, because I can't even box eggs, but I reckon I'd plug you table tennis just quietly. I reckon, national coach, national player, whoop-de-doo.
We'll have to make it happen.
Mate, the challenge is out there. The challenge, I'll put it out to you. The challenge is out there, and you look scared already.
I'm very. Do you know what? The truth is, I used to be okay at table tennis, and then I started doing strongman, and I put on a lot of weight, and built a lot of muscle. And then I had a practice a couple of years back, and after about 10 shots, my shoulder was getting pumped. I was like, okay, this isn't as easy as it used to be.
Oh, that would have been hilarious with all the injuries and everything that you've happened. Breaking news, Big Loz out of world's strongest man because of table tennis injury. That would have been the best. Now, right, let's get into it. The arm wrestling. You have come over to the dark side. You have become a lunatic like the rest of us. Arm wrestling is not good for your body at all, but everyone in the chat here believe it's one of the greatest.
You know what? Everyone says to me, "Oh, why are you doing arm wrestling? The injuries are terrible, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, did you guys see my strongman career? Do I look like someone that gives a damn about injuries anymore? I've been injured more times. Now when I get injured, I'm like, okay, I got another injury. I don't even get upset anymore. I just get on with it.
Yeah, stock standard. Liz! Bag of peas. It's happened again. It's happened. Injury. Let's get the ice on there. But then that gets in probably the one question everyone probably wants to know. Why arm wrestling?
Firstly, I can do it. And strongman, you get to the point and your body's just like, I can't do this shit anymore. It's brutal. Strongman is a brutal sport. Arm wrestling's tough. You get the nasty pains in the elbow, and it can hurt. It's like a toothache type pain. But strongman is just brutal. It destroys your whole body. And I got to the point where it's like, okay, if I keep going in strongman now, I'm going to be a mid-table kind of guy in the top level shows, and that's it. The younger guys are just getting better. I'm getting older. I'm hanging on to my best level. I believe if I really focused, I could still be somewhere in the middle in some of the big shows, but I'm never going to challenge for a world title. I'm never going to win the major shows anymore. I've got too many injuries. I'm, getting older. It was just like, I don't have the drive to push myself to do it just to be an also-ran and just make up numbers. So I'd rather step back, do the commentating, do the YouTube stuff, push the sport as much as I can, and focus on being a bit fitter and healthier in terms of my own body weight and my own health. I've got a young family to think about. We go on days out now and I'm fine. It's great. I can walk around all day and I'm not cramping up. I'm not worrying about like lower back pump or calf pump and stuff like that. I can go, day out with the kids around a theme park and I'm fitting on rides. It's brilliant.
No way. No, you're not.
I am, yeah. There's pictures of me on rides and shit like that. It's something I've not been able to do for almost 20 years because
most of us usually get stuck at the top of the roller coaster. I could see because of your big mammoth frame, it'll go down to the bottom, and just couldn't. So all the workers are behind it, just like, no, we need Loz to finish the ride, and trying to get it there. A couple of quick questions with that. Oh, first of all, you are just move your head, Loz. You are killing the YouTube. 100 and showing the silver button, guys. 125,000 subscribers. Feel free to spill a few over the Aussie arm wrestler here, buddy. I'm trying to keep me out of. Nah, I'm only joking. I'm doing pretty well with my loyal fan base.
One of the great things about
congratulations
strongman and arm wrestling, they kind of cross over pretty well. You know, it's quite nice. I think like I said to you earlier, I like all the different strength sports, so it's great. And you know, I've seen a lot of familiar faces in the comments already that come over to my channel and watch a lot of the strongman videos as well. So it's cool.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome. Swedish Arm Wrestling TV just says, how did your arm feel after your first practice?
Terrible. my arm was so sore after that first practice that I went to. I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
But, I've sort of accustomed my body to it a bit more now.
Give us a forearm flex. Show everyone what you bring to the table. There it is. They look like arms, but only smaller. That's all right. So Fox 8 says, who did Big Loz arm wrestle first, and what happened? So when you first put that arm on the table, who was it?
Oh, I arm wrestled people in the pub when I was younger, you know, like we all do, stupidly. The first I went to, I'm really lucky. Where at the town where I live, there's a good arm wrestling club, and I went down in Swindon, and there's a guy down there called Alan who sort of runs the club, and he just kind of hooked up with me, crafty older bugger, like literally. He's like, right, get your elbow on the table, and his arm's up here. So he's like hooking up to me. He won't put his elbow on the table. Like I didn't know what the hell I'm looking for at the moment, but he's trying to get that height on me straight away and use every little kind of trick in the book. And he still does it now, but I kind of see everything coming now. Whereas then he was using these tricks, and I'm just like, why does his hand feel so strong?
Yeah.
There's no way this guy's stronger than me, and he's just beating me so damn easily. It's embarrassing. But
that would be really interesting because you're like, guys, I've pulled a plane, like, and I can't pin this guy on the other side of the table. It would be madness. Big Ram Toner just spreading some love. He's like, Loz is awesome. I'm a long-time strongman fan and confirm how competitive and super strong he is. He has an absolute iron grip, which won't do any harm on the table. Great chat, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. Were you glad that arm wrestling was taken out of the World's Strongest Man with what happened?
I don't think arm wrestling belongs in strongman. I really don't. I mean, I am the first person to stand here and, you know, appreciate the difference between being a strong guy and being an arm wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, bring Levin to my gym. I'll destroy him in any strongman event you want. But you can have a very average arm wrestler that's going to destroy me in an arm wrestling match right now. I'm a novice, and I sort of understand it's very different to gym training or strongman. You know, it's a completely different sport. Even the strengths that you have in arm wrestling are very unique. Like I have a strong grip for holding things, but it's the kind of, you know, the small, the finger strength, firstly, just that kind of containing strength, the pronation, the cupping kind of movements. It's just things that even as strongmen, you're not used to. So it's, you know, it's taking a while to sort of get used to. I mean, I've seen my best progress in the last 3 weeks training with Tom. I've started to sort of connect a little bit more, understanding how to involve my traps and my lats, the strong muscle groups that I've got. Whereas before, I'm like, you know, arms opened up straight away, and you know, my biceps are weak anyway. So it's my hand is fairly strong for a strong man. You know, my grip's always been good, but it's still there's still a lot of training needed to get it strong for arm wrestling specific movements.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Marcus Thompson. You dead set legend with a massive super chat. This guy really huge supporter, and I'm going to meet up with him next week so I can buy multiple beers and say thank you for keeping the dream alive. He says, Big Loz, What will your mindset be like stepping onto the table for your first comp? Will you be aggressive, similar to your World's Strongest Man days? Also, being at the pinnacle of strength, how many years would you think it would take to be an elite arm wrestler and call out Levan?
I think Levan's safe.
For now. Big Loz is coming.
Very safe for now. It's weird. Like, I never started anything thinking I was going to be the world's strongest man or be the best. I literally have an attitude of, if I like something, I just want to get better at it. That's my attitude with everything I've ever done. Like, every strongman comp I did, I'd finish it, analyze what I did, and think, right, what can I improve on? What did I do well? What didn't I do well? And actually, every time I lost was always better, because you learn more from losing. You sort of, when you win, you just think you're the daddy, and you think you're great. Whereas when you lose, you assess things a little bit more, and you learn from it. So for me, I want to just enjoy arm wrestling, which I'm really enjoying it right now. Neil Pickup threw me into this match. I was supposed to be having a match
this weekend. Let's dive into it. This weekend, Arm Wars. Here we go.
I wanted to do maybe like a novice competition or something like that, just to get a bit of experience with pulling different people in a competitive environment. And Neil had spoken about maybe me having an arm wrestling match with Rob Frampton. Rob's obviously a former strongman. He's been doing arm wrestling for a couple of years now. He's getting good. But it sort of made sense. Whereas he sort of, he messaged me. He's like, you're going to be arm wrestling in Iron House, and you're going against James Beach. I was like, okay, who's James Beach? Straight away looking on Instagram. James Beach is like a professional, he's made the finals left-handed in the national championships, in the pro series. He's been doing it a fair few years. Experienced guy. Seems like a really cool guy from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But
good
his experience level it's like, to me, it's as if James came to, try a strongman comp against me. That's that's the difference. Maybe not quite to that level, I guess, but he's got a big experience advantage. He's got, arm wrestling he's been doing for a fair few years. I can't even pretend to give them some smack talk and stuff like that, because at the moment, I have never been in that situation. I'm not going to be aggressive, because I think I need to really focus on what I'm doing. And it's not, confrontation doesn't bother me in the slightest. I was British champion at Kung Fu. I've competed in sports. I don't mind confrontation. That's not going to be a problem for me. Being in front of a big crowd isn't a problem for me. I've competed in huge crowds, done public talking, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. The problem is I've never had a ready go. So I think realistically, I'm going to learn a lot from this situation. Now, win, lose, or draw, I will learn a lot and hopefully be able to go on and do some competitions to get some more experience and keep improving. That is my ultimate goal. Tom seems to think if I can contain him, I've got the power to maybe get, the pins and stuff like that. But I appreciate that start is going to be completely new experience for me. I'm sure James is going to be fast. I'm still in that process of, I have to think about the technique.
Yeah.
And that on its own will slow me down. I sort of, I've like I said, I've done many sports in the past. Literally, I've been training now. I had odd times on table. So when I was out in Dubai, Larry Wheels invited me, and I got on the table with him. But I've trained properly for arm wrestling for 4 months, where I've gone at least once every week to the arm wrestling club for 4 months. And now I'm starting to see a little bit of progress. But 4 months arm wrestling, I think most of the arm wrestlers on here will kind of say is nothing in terms of arm wrestling experience. So I am completely new to this. I'm genuinely nervous, because it's just a new situation for me, but I'm also excited. And at first I was like, Neil, there's no way you can throw me in this match. It's just going to be crap. James is going to destroy me. It's going to be boring. But then I was like, well, I've never been afraid of losing before. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to, do the absolute best I can. I'm going to try and gain as much experience as I can, talk to the other arm wrestlers over the weekend, watch, pick people's brains, and I know I will come out a better arm wrestler, for it. I'll be able to go away, work hard, win, lose or draw. I'm going to come back better. Give me 6 months time from now. I know I'll be a completely different arm wrestler.
Oh, I hope you flip the script and you get the first pin and you just flip the table and you scream in James's face and then you sort of look at the camera and say, "Are you not entertained?" And you just flip it. That's what you get, arm wrestlers. I would just lose it. Guys, if you want to watch Big Loz pull live, you need to become an Arm Wars YouTube member. Make sure you get over there and do that. I'm all signed up. Couple of quick questions, and then I want to go back to Arm Wars. What did Loz think when he met Levan and Janashia and shook their hands?
I thought this guy's got a really huge wrist and hand. When I met him in Bahrain early last year, and he was a bit smaller than he normally is when he competes. He looked like he'd lost about 30 kilos, but his hand was massive. And, just like 2 of my fingers was like one of his. Yeah. And just the thickness in his wrist is just absolutely mental. I mean, you're watching him arm wrestle, he's just absolutely ridiculous, just on another level. When you think, I challenge Levan because I don't look any worse than anyone else does against him. Yeah. we're all just going to get flash pinned and that's it.
He's just phenomenal. 180 kilo, 170 kilos of just genuine, disgustingly massive.
Specifically in arm wrestling.
Do you think he would do well in Strongman?
Probably not, because his legs are pretty weak. He's not trained for strongman. I think someone like Laurence Shahlaei, the Olympic weightlifter, would do much better in strongman than, say, Levan would.
Well, Olympic.
Most arm wrestlers have a major issue that they can't straighten their arm.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a training session with Devon, and Devon literally can't straighten his arms. We do like bear crawls and stuff like that for his boxing match, and he's severely restricted his ability in other sports through arm wrestling. And I've seen a number of arm wrestlers that can't extend their arm fully. It's you do almost train yourself into a specific sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Sunko wants to know, can Big Loz beat the #1 arm wrestler in the world, my man Ryan Bowen?
You know what? I was disappointed. Ryan was supposed to be coming to train with me tomorrow. I was supposed to be putting him through a leg session. I thought that would have been hilarious to put Ryan through a leg session. Unfortunately, he went down and trained with the Slough Slammers this weekend, and I think he was shocked by the level down there, and he's a bit battered. And obviously, he's competing this weekend, so he wants to recover. So it would have been good to meet up with Ryan. I've spoken to him a few times, not had the pleasure to meet him in person, but looking forward to meeting him this weekend. I love what Ryan does. His YouTube is brilliant.
Careful. If you show any love to Ryan Bowen, because we're very good friends, if you show that, you'll get attacked.
Well, it's been interesting kind of watching Ryan recently, because I watch Ryan and you think, yeah, this guy's cool, knows his stuff. And then suddenly he's sort of calling out everyone. And he's kind of, and we're like, yeah, Ryan, come on, you look like a banker. You're not calling out anyone to get into.
You look like a banker. Oh, that the internet's going to take that and run with it. Absolutely. That is so good.
He's building his brand, which is, we all want the followers, we all want people watching our channel, and some people do that by getting the haters as well. More people, you don't care if they support you or they hate you, as long as they watch. I think Ryan's okay with that. But I'm really looking forward to meeting Ryan. He does seem like a cool guy, and he seems to know what he's talking about. Ray kicked his ass, to be fair.
He knows it. We all know it. Whooped him big time. Neil Pickup just getting his balls nice and tingly in the chat. He says it is on. Another crossover featuring great British strongman with truly magnificent pedigree. Great to have Loz and Rob Frampton. For those that don't know, them two are actually team champions in strongman as well. You two are the tag team strongman, which is awesome. And then they could be enemies if you both win your battleground matchup. And then,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
that'll be fire, making their Arm Wars debut on the Iron House Live 2. We're going to get back to Arm Wars in a moment. Victor says, we want Big Loz versus Larry Wheels at King of the Table 6 in February. Mate, we will make it. We'll make it all happening. Everyone's just... And now all the banker comments are coming through. So then we've got it there. Like, Arm Wars is going to be magnificent. It's ripper that you've come over to the sport. Is there probably two questions? Is there an end goal besides like not hurting yourself? Is there an end goal in arm wrestling? And like, are there any future matches booked, or is there someone? Well, three questions actually. Or is there someone that you would just you watch them and you like actually like their style? That'd be a good match.
Like I said, I'm really too much of a novice to sort of answer that question. I mean, you know, deep within me, I'd love to win a British title. If I'm completely honest with you, you know, there's a little voice inside of me that was thinking, I'm British champion in 3 different sports, so it'd be quite cool to add a 4th sport to that. It's you know, I think down the line, if I could win a national title, that would be incredible. The reality is right now, I just want to get better. That is my ultimate focus. Is every single time I get on the table, my goal is just improve. And you know, from talking to Tom, he's seen good improvements in me every session that I've gone down to train with him. I'd love 6 months of going down to train with him, you know, and see what kind of progress I can make in that time. Go and travel and train with different people. If I got a chance to go and train with Chance, that would be amazing. Ryan, yourself, Neil, whoever it is. I want to pick people's brains, keep learning things, keep getting better, because arm wrestling there's so much to it.
Yeah.
And I'm loving that side of things. I actually really enjoy the technical side of it. One of the reasons I'm trying to lose weight at the moment and do arm wrestling is so that I learn to arm wrestle without relying on being strong.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to sort of focus on the technical improvements. And then if I get to a good level and I decide, right, I'm going to try and get a bit of strength back, put on 10 kilos, hopefully that will be an advantage. But at the moment, I'm trying to avoid pulling with people and just using brute force, because it hurts, firstly, you know, and it doesn't get you very far in terms of development.
Well, I'll put the subtitles for everyone. What Big Loz actually meant to say is he wants to drop weight so he can win a national title in a lighter category. We'll get the bouncing ball.
The reality is, I think that the lightest class is under 105s, isn't it? Or under 110s?
Yeah, well, yeah, each nationals are different, but yeah, you could go.
But I'm not getting down to that weight. The lightest I'm going to get is like 125. So I'm super heavyweight for life.
Wow, you have blown John Stone's mind. He's like, what? A super strong dude that comes into the sport and does not think he can beat everyone? What is this madness? What is this madness? Is there anyone that you'd love to grip up with?
There's people I'd like to grip up with once I get a bit better. I'd like to, you know, get to level where I could pull someone like Larry and give him a good match. Brandon Allen, so he was on your show the other day. I think it'd be cool having like the powerlifter versus the strongman type, you know, match. That would be pretty cool.
I smell money. I smell money. I'm just going to edit all this. I'm going to edit all this, and Big Loz calls out Larry and Brandon. That's how. No, that'll be awesome.
I feel, give me a year and I can make a lot of progress. I genuinely believe that, because I do have natural strengths in certain areas, and I am sort of. We have a guy local to us called Mindus, who is an absolute beast. He won the right-handed British heavyweight title. Mindus Dalgas, he's doing arm wars.
Pulling my man from New Zealand on the weekend. Yeah. Can't wait for that. That's
going to be a hell of a match. Those two are both beasts. Yeah. Now, Mindus is like at such a level that he just destroys me. I mean, he's great. He lets me train, and you know, I'm improving. But when I first locked up against him, it was like, there's no way I can ever be this good. But then you sort of like, each week things improve, little things get better, things start to feel better. You start doing a little bit better on the table, and you think, okay, if I can keep making progress, maybe he's not out of touch in 3-4 years time, 2 years time, whatever it is. And that's my kind of thought process is if I keep getting better, don't put any limits on, I like the way Devon is with his no limits kind of, philosophy. I just want to focus on improving. And as long as I can improve and as long as I'm having fun, I don't want to do it if I'm not having fun.
Correct.
I'm not trying to be a pro arm wrestler. I'm not trying to, I was a pro athlete in a different sport and I've retired. Now I coach, I've got my YouTube stuff, I do commentating. That's how I make my living. I just love training. It's just something I love doing. So I need to be in the gym. I need to be training for something. And I just happen to really love arm wrestling. So it is literally great fun. I want to arm wrestle as many people as I can. I want to keep learning from everyone, pick people's brains, figure out the best style for me that, makes sense. And I know even just from hooking up with the people I've hooked up with, everyone feels different. Every single person you hook up with feels different. And it's, I might
you've got 2 seconds to adjust and go, where am I going to go?
There's some people in our club that I hook up with and I think, easy. And then they beat someone that I can't beat. It's
oh no, don't start the ring of death. Throwing the rankings everywhere. I can beat you can beat him, but then he can beat me. It just it absolutely blows your mind. And I think Neil was the one that officially coined the phrase and how he built Arm Wars, his styles make matches. So it is 100% right. Give us a prediction before we get into a game and some fun questions to wrap up the show, because I'm very cautious of the time. Give us a prediction. Arm Wars on House 2, Big Loz versus James and the Giant Beach. What's the score going to be? 6-0. Oh, he's called it.
6-0. 6-0. 6-0. Do you know what? What I'm really looking forward to is knowing what level I'm at. So it would be easier to make a prediction after this weekend. Do you know what? I don't want James to just flash pin me 6 times, 6 times in a row. If that happens, it will be disappointing. I want to at least make him work. That's my goal. Is if I can get some respect from him, and he feels like he's had to work to beat me, then we're doing well. And like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm being negative. I am just literally in a position where 4 months I've been doing this. If someone came into a strongman comp that had been doing it 4 months against me, I'm telling you, I'm beating the hell out of that guy.
That's right.
I don't care how freakishly genetically gifted they are. I'm beating that guy. It's as simple as that. And I'm reversing that thought process. I don't know what level I'm at. I mean, Tom's probably a better person to tell you, or anyone that's kind of hooked up with me, because I've never arm wrestled James. I've never arm wrestled anyone in a proper match. So
there's only one way to find out. We don't need anyone to tell us what level you're at. Get over to the Arm Wars YouTube channel and become a member, and we can all watch together what level our man Big Loz is at.
There's so many things that are like, elbow fouls, for instance, start positions. It's all very well being on a table and pulling slowly and getting into position. I can be strong in those positions, but I'm going to have someone trying everything that he can to put me in uncomfortable positions and situations I'm not used to. I'm going to have referees watching me from both angles. I mean, I'm bad for elbow fouling, so it's just little things like that I've got to get used to, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Just learning from this experience. I don't want to sound like I'm being negative, but I've put no expectations on myself other than if we were to have this match in 4 or 5 months' time, I'm going to be a lot better. That's as simple as it is. I need to do the match just for myself, just to get that experience, because I could wait and compete against someone of a lesser level, but sod it. Neil's given me this opportunity. It's going to be great to meet so many great arm wrestlers. It's going to be great to go against James, and we'll see what happens. I'll give it my all. I'm sure I'm going to be very sore afterwards. It's for your first match to be a super match is a bit weird.
I love it.
I thought I'd do a few competitions, get used to it. No. Neil's like, no, we're going to chuck you in. You're going to do it in the deep end straight away. But I'm lucky that I've got that situation because I know a lot of people would give anything for it, and I'm gonna make the most of it.
You're humble guy. We absolutely love it. Just quickly before we get into our game and quick fire questions, what's your go-to style? Top roll, hook, flop press?
Originally, I was kind of like top rolling, whereas now I'm going more into a hook.
There you go. Hook, of course, mate. That's the alpha way to do it. You got to be a hook puller, right? Because you're on the show, you get to play this game twice. It is arm wrestling's favorite game. It is called Pin One, Lose One, Get Rid of One. I'm going to give you the name of 3 pullers, and you have to tell me which one you're going to pin, which one you're going to lose to, and which one you are banning from arm wrestling for 12 months. You got to kick them out. They can't even do YouTube or anything like that. First off, is your opponent at Arm Wars James in the Giant Beach? You got James Beach. Second one, the man that booked that match, and that is Neil Pickup. And then the third one is probably your most favorite Australian in the world, and that is the Aussie ArmWrestler. You got to pin one, lose one, and tell the other one. That'll do. 3 months, 12 months off ski.
Well, I'll pin Neil because pinning Neil would be pretty good. I think that would be pretty cool to pin Neil.
Careful what you say here, Loz. Careful now.
I'll lose to you because we can't have you off there.
Yeah.
And James doesn't really care about his social media and stuff. He's pretty quiet. So
we're banning him from arm wrestling as well.
Yeah, he's gonna especially if he beats me this weekend and shows me up. I want him banned. I don't want to see him again.
There you go. You're gone, James, and we love it. And then we're going to do it in the strongman sense. I'm going to give you Brian Shaw, Big Thor, and Zadruna Savicius. And by eliminating them, you're eliminating all their previous work.
Oh, okay.
You're wiping them from the record.
I'll beat Brian because he's the one guy I've never beaten. I've beaten everyone there is to beat except for Brian Shaw. So I need the victory over Brian. We'll lose to Zadrunas, and we'll get rid of Thor.
He's pulled the trigger. I'm starting to see a common denominator. I don't think a lot of people like Thor. So
honestly, I like Thor. He's a good guy, but you just got to jump on the bandwagon and have some fun.
All righty, love it. Before we wrap up the show, we have gone a little bit over time, so I do apologize. Before we wrap up the show, no thinking, Loz, no thinking. Quick fire questions. Here we go. In your short time in arm wrestling, do you prefer super matches or tournaments?
Super matches.
Are you a fan of the King's Move?
Yes.
You've said positive things about Ryan Bowen, and you're a fan of the King's Move. You are trying not to get liked in this sport. I get it. No. What has been your worst injury?
Probably tearing my Achilles.
Yeah.
I had 610 kilos on my back? Or 650? No, it was 610. It was 610 kilos, and my Achilles blew out. That wasn't fun.
Wow. Just quickly, Irfan is just saying you beat Brian in the beard department, so you've got to win over Brian Shaw.
It's not hard, let's be honest.
What is your favorite country to compete in?
I know it sounds a bit of a cop-out, but the UK. The UK in front of the arena fans is absolutely amazing. They're absolutely the best strongman fans on the planet.
There you go. Very interesting. What does pulling an aeroplane feel like? We all watch Strongman and it's amazing, and we watch the amazing things you can do. But to be the actual person, it's just like what? I pulled an aeroplane. So what?
The worst thing is when you get to the end and your legs are just like jelly, you're breathing heavy, and then they throw a microphone in front of you and they want an interview, and you're just like, you can't talk, you can't think straight, you can barely stand up. It's the lactic acid buildup in the legs is brutal.
It would be. What is the most amount of calories you've had in a day?
Ooh, Lizzie, what's the most calories I've had in a day? Yeah, I'd say probably 10 to 12,000.
I feel a bit crook even thinking about that. Now, I've got to ask, were you really a Kung Fu champion?
Yes. Yeah. As a junior, a long time ago, but yes, I was British champion.
A junior Kung Fu champion. You don't hear many people doing Kung Fu unless it's in the movies. And I'm glad Liz is there, and thank you very much, Liz. Does Liz ever tell you off for not bringing in the groceries all in one go?
Do you know what? We get the groceries delivered these days. We're lazy.
Stop it!
We got someone else to do that. No, we don't do that ourselves.
Oh, look at that. That's the button's gone right to your head. I see. I was just having a laugh because, we all do it. We bring the shopping in. And I would have just loved it if Liz just looked at you weird why are you making 2 trips?
Early on in our relationship, we used to live with Liz's mum and dad. And where they lived, you kind of had to walk a fair way to the house. So when we used to go and do the shop, I used to try and bring it all in one go. And I'd kind of imagine I'm just doing the farmer's walk, kind of running along the path, trying to get it all done as quickly as possible in one go.
Oh, I could. Would just be one of the best. I don't know why I'm such a weirdo, but it would just be a funny thing that you making 2 trips for the groceries for some reason. Like we were talking before with the farmer's walk, 2 150 kilo things, and then you bring in the groceries. You're like, oh, 6 bags. That's a bit too much.
When you're an athlete, you kind of do sort of start looking at things a certain way. I was doing this the other day. I don't know if any of the people watching and you guys are arm wrestlers. I've started sort of holding my kids' hands, but imagining I'm arm wrestling them. Or the steering wheel or something like that. I'll just grab something and I'm trying to sort of grab it as if I'm arm wrestling.
Your pronate shopping bag. You and Liz will be having a nice walk down the beach and you've re-gripped and you've climbed her hand and things like that. Mate,
the hilarious thing. You did the commentating on the video of Tom and Liz having a thumb war.
Yeah.
And Tom just naturally goes onto the table. He's holding the handle, his elbows on the table, they're having a damn thumb war.
Yeah. You'll find it just little things that you do in life. Some of your lifts in the gym may be different. Like you get rid of your thumb, and it's just it is just madness. And the last question: will we ever see Liz on the arm wrestling table?
Liz is one for more sitting back and watching rather than taking part in any sport. She's a good cheerleader.
Okay. There you go. I'll get you to nominate someone like a Strongman or someone. Who do you think would have a lot of fun on the Aussie Arm Wrestlers show?
Ooh, I think anyone's going to have fun with you, Jake. You're a fun guy. Who's going to have fun? Have you tried Lalas? Lalas is an arm wrestler as well.
Yeah, I have. I actually haven't tried him, but I have. I do follow Lalas.
He's actually a really funny guy himself, and he's into arm wrestling, so he'd be a good person to get on.
Yeah, beautiful. I'll reach out to them, and then of course we need to get your best impersonation of the #1 arm wrestling catchphrase in the world, and that is "Ready Bang."
Ready, bang!
There it is. Awesome. We cannot thank Big Loz enough. If everyone in the chat can just please give a big thanks to Big Loz and his lovely wife Liz for giving us the time of day to come onto the show. It's just been unbelievable, as everyone's just saying, look, everyone's just so excited to see you on the table. I'm sure everyone subscribed to me is subscribed to the big fella. But if you're not, even their live shows with Liz and Loz is actually quite hilarious. I find myself watching it quite a bit. So really appreciate it, guys. This weekend, you're going to see my guest and one of Europe's strongest men on the planet going up in his first arm wrestling match. And we wish you all the best, Big Loz. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, guys. Come and support me. I'm going to need all the support I can get. So
get to Arm Wars, ladies and gentlemen.